Hello ladies and gentlemen, Panzer here, and welcome back to Paladins, and also the first in a series of guides for characters in the game. Each guide will be fairly short, since I believe that, just like Overwatch, Paladins allows for a lot of freedom in playstyles when it comes to the roles each character fulfills. Now, obviously character stats are going to play a part, but I'm going to be focusing more on how to get started using each character and what setup I believe will be most useful. The character I'm covering in this video is the latest addition to Paladins' lineup of champions. She's a support character with excellent mobility and damage, as well as potent healing capabilities. She's the mistress with the mirror, Ying. Ying is a spellcaster who wields a magic mirror as her primary weapon. Her attacks are in the form of a continuous beam that deals 5 ticks of 120 damage each, over 0.5 seconds every 0.7 seconds. This means that the beam itself works more like a burst fire weapon, and each activation will fire in a burst of 5. You can use this to hit multiple enemies by strafing the beam across them, or you can focus the damage of each shot onto a single target. This will also have the added effect of dealing 100 additional damage if all 5 shots hit the target. This will allow you to deal a total of 700 damage with each use, and the weapon itself has a magazine capacity of 6 shots. This gives Ying surprisingly high damage potential. However, because it's a beam and not a projectile, it has no damage fall-off because it has a limited range. Unlike other characters who fire bullets or projectiles, Ying is completely unable to hit characters outside of her range, so positioning is key. Find a spot where you have cover from longer range enemies, or move with the team to avoid being singled out. Her first ability allows her to create illusionary mirror images of herself on the map, and these illusions are temporary and can also be destroyed by the enemy. While they're active, they behave like turrets and heal nearby allies for 400 health per second. This can be combined with her secondary ability called Shatter. This causes any active illusions to chase down enemies and explode, causing 500 damage each. This can be quite useful when moving with a payload, since you can place illusions to support your team, and if the push begins to fail, shatter the illusions to help push the enemies back. Think of it more as a sort of panic button, but I'm sure there might be other uses for this ability than what I've managed to find out so far. But another use that I have found particularly useful as well is to lay traps for enemies that might be chasing you. Very often flankers such as Skye might try to get around and target you, and this is where you can actually use your illusions as a sort of trap. What I've actually found is quite useful is if you know that you're being flanked, you can place a bunch of illusions on the way before you return to the rest of your team. And as soon as that Skye pops up, or whoever is trying to flank you, once they're visible, you can then pop that Shatter and deal massive amounts of damage to them. And 500 damage is not a small amount. Ying also has a useful ability that grants her a high amount of mobility. Dimensional Link allows her to swap positions with one of her active illusions. This also removes any debuffs when used. If no illusions are active, she will teleport to the location of her last active illusion instead. And there are 2 functions of this ability. By simply tapping the key, you will automatically be swapped with the active illusion that is furthest away. But since this might also cause you to inadvertently teleport towards the enemy instead of away from them, you can also hold the key down to choose illusions to swap with, so simply hold it down and aim in the direction of an illusion you want to swap places with. As you might expect, this is most useful as an escape ability. Since you need active illusions for it to work, you're not likely to be able to use it to easily advance or flank the enemy. It does have a short casting time, so be careful when you use it, as you will be vulnerable for a short time while it activates. Ying's ultimate ability is Illusory Rift. This ultimate is a purely supportive or defensive ability. Upon activation, it spawns a prism over each of your teammates and heals them for 200 points per second. And the healing is dealt over the course of half a second, and this can be very useful for making that last push or saving your team from being wiped. As far as loadouts and items go, Ying is your typical glass cannon caster. Survivability is going to be an issue. Extra health won't hurt, but if you're more of an aggressive player, additional lifesteal in your primary attack could prove to be essential. Since she does pretty high burst damage, lifesteal can be a lifesaver in many situations. On top of that, cooldown reduction can help keep you alive by helping reduce the cooldown on Dimensional Link. But remember that no matter what, you're still going to be fairly squishy, so prioritizing survivability and damage might be the way to go. But let me know what you guys think. Is Ying the typical glass cannon, or is there another way to set her up? And what loadout would you run if you were picking her? Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. My name is Panzer, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.